Hey friends, so this video is going to look a little bit different than the typical ones that you'll get from me because I'm kind of talking over an existing recording, which is a little different. Usually I'm recording and talking at the same time, but I wanted to show you what it will look like on these computers in the classroom. So I'm going to start out going to our Canvas page for this class. We're going to let that load. I'm going to scroll down in the first module to the resource files page, and in that is a template file. So I'm going to go ahead and download that template file, and then once it downloads, I'll just click on the little folder button next to it so that it'll open up my downloads folder and I'll know exactly where that template is for later. Then I'm going to go ahead and launch the Vectorworks software. This is going to take probably a lot longer on your computer than on this computer because I had recently started this already today. So let it take however long it takes and we will skip ahead to the point when it is loaded. Okay, so as it is loading, yours may have the automatically find servers box checked. We are actually going to be using a specific server. Okay, so uncheck automatically find servers and then type in this IP address in the primary server box after you have done so, right? So it was checked, uncheck it. Then you'll go to modules. It might be in fundamentals and you're going to choose design suite because that is the one that we use for this class. And then don't show it startup checkbox because you don't ever need to see this again, and you will let the software launch. Which will take a little bit more time. It's possible when you launch it that you'll see a pop-up, and I'll put a picture of that pop-up on the screen, that asks you if you want to download and update your libraries, and the answer to that question is yes, do it. Download and update the libraries. So you will go ahead and do that. This is the home screen. We're going to start a blank document for the beginning of this class. So you're going to check that blank document button. And it's going to open up, and because we're in Design Suite, it looks a little different than the way we want it to look for most of our class. So you'll go up to the Tools menu on the top bar, and you will go down to Workspaces, and then you will choose Spotlight in order to launch the Spotlight workspace, which is the one that is designated for theater. So when you do that, it's going to kind of refresh, and it's going to give you different tool sets than the ones in the Design Suite, ones that are more targeted towards the theater stuff. Your screen should be big enough that you can fit all of those tool sets and sort of see all the tools at once. You can click through those little icons to toggle through the different tool sets, or you can slide down the menu to look at all of your basic tools. That's over there on the left. You'll also have your resource manager. It'll be floating kind of in the middle of the screen, and I usually dock it up on the top bar. So I drag it up to the top so it's out of my way. We're going to adjust a couple of the settings. So that's under the menu for Vectorworks in the Mac version. It'll be under the File menu in PC. You'll go to Preferences. Most of them, you can leave them as they are. When you see me working in Vectorworks, I will usually be using dark mode because I'm a dark mode girly. You can then skip down to Session, and the one that you'll want to look at there is the maximum number of undos. So how much undos do you want is there. And then the autosave preferences. Autosave. You can choose to have it autosave every however many minutes, or however many operations, right? And that's up to you. I usually leave my autosave preference at every 15 minutes. If you are a person who, when a pop-up happens, you just exit out and ignore it, then you might want to uncheck confirm before save. Because if a pop-up happens and you just exit out and ignore it, then you will never autosave. And the whole purpose of autosave is to save your butt when your software crashes. So if that confirm before save pop-up is going to mess with you, you should just uncheck it and let it take over and do that save whether you want it or not, right? So that's my advice to you from future you. I typically do not overwrite my original file with an autosave. I autosave a backup copy. I let it create the backup folder, and then sometimes I'll have it saved like three versions back instead of just one version back. And then I don't F with Smart Options display. It basically creates little pop-ups that hover around near your cursor. And I am a keyboard shortcut girly, so I do not play that game. So this will be a thing where I turn that button off. Other than that, we are good to go, and we can hit OK down at the bottom and it will save everything for us, and we will continue on with our life. The other thing I'm going to have us do is change a basic view thing. Let me slide this over so you can see the whole menu. So if you hit this little Vectorworks button for quick preferences, two of the things that are happening right now are showing the grid and showing the page boundary. We will not need that in our design space for numerous reasons that I'll talk about more in the next video, but we're going to go ahead and turn those two off. I am going to add the button for multiple view panes, and that's because that's easy to accidentally turn on, so you do want to have that quick access to that button. If you want to turn on and off your Smart Options display, you can add that button. You can add any additional buttons by pinning them, and then they'll show up on that taskbar for you. So now I am opening up the downloaded Vectorworks template that I had out a minute ago. It's going to ask for new font mappings, and I'll say that's fine, and I'll also say it's fine that it's watermarked. If the pop-up bugs you, you can just check the box and then it won't happen anymore. You'll see in this file there are pre-loaded design layers and sheet layers that you can use in all of your projects, and those are over there on the right hand or the left hand side. Nope, the right hand side. So you have a ground plan, a section view, right? All of those things. We'll also have design layers that are stacked in this side. We'll talk more about that over the course of the class. So now I'm going to have you go File and Save as Template in order to turn this into the template file for your stuff. We are going to call it CSUN 2025. It's going to save it automatically into the templates folder on your computer. So then when you go to create a new document, you would just choose to use a document template, and it will now populate this template file for you. Once you have done all of those things, you can go ahead and move on to the next video, and that will be a more detailed tour of the workspace. All right, thanks friends, bye.